Happy Thursday. Today we're going to go over our reading strategies and then go over our Thursday worksheet that looks like this. Before we begin, I want you to go back and reread the stories we read on Tuesday. So go ahead, reread both of these pages. Press pause. When you're done, go ahead, press play again. Our genre this week is poetry, and we have two different types. We have a limerick and we have a free verse. Limerick is a short, funny poem that rhymes. Each stanza has 5 lines. That stanza is like a verse, right? So each verse has 5 lines. The first, second, and fifth lines rhyme, and then the third and the fourth lines rhyme. Remember, that would be like what we had with Cold Feet. First, second, and fifth rhymes, ice, mice, nice. And then the third and the fourth rhyme, feet and heat. Bugged is a limerick also. It just has 2 stanzas. So instead of just one stanza like Cold Feet, it's got stanza 1 and stanza 2. Remember, that's like a verse. A free verse poem does not always rhyme, and it can have any number of lines and stanzas. So if I go back 2 pages to this Empanada Day that you just reread, this was a free verse poem. Now, there was feet and treat that rhymed here, and learn and turn that rhymed here, but the whole poem doesn't have rhyming words at the end of the lines. Now, when we read poetry, point of view is really important. A poem often shows a narrator's thoughts about events or characters. This is the point of view. Look for details that show the point of view. So what do they think about what they're talking about? Find text evidence. I reread Empanada Day and look for details that show what the narrator thinks about making empanadas with Abuelita, his grandmother. This is his point of view. Now, you have already reread it, so some of the details you might have noticed is one bite of Abuelita's empanadas makes my mouth purr. Teach me to make this magical treat. My eyes wide as saucers, I watch and follow. So what's his point of view? Does he like empanadas? Oh yeah, he loves empanadas. Magical treat. One bite and my mouth purrs. Eyes wide as saucers, right? That's his point of view. He thinks they're amazing. Alliteration and rhyme is another thing that we talked about in poetry. Poets use alliteration and rhyme to make descriptions fun to read and poems sound musical. So when you reread Bugged, listen for the beginning sounds that repeat. So in the first line, crawled and creature, so a creature has crawled on my knee, right? That's alliteration because they both sound the same at the start. And then the words knee and pea rhyme. Notice they don't always have to have the same spelling, right? Knee ends with EE and P ends with EA, but they still rhyme. A creature has crawled on my knee. It's a bug, green and round as a pea, right? Knee and pea, they rhyme. Then finally, similes. Similes compare 2 things using the words like and as. They compare 2 things that are very different. They always use the words like or as. 2 examples of similes are, the bug is as green as grass, or the moon is like a giant pearl. Is the moon a pearl? No, but the moon is like a giant pearl, right? It looks like a giant pearl hanging up in the sky. Let's take a look at our worksheet for today. We've got 2 poems to read. The first one, busy as a bee. Ooh, notice the alliteration. Busy bee. I pick up my pen and I quickly count to 10. My homework needs to be done or I won't have any fun, so I'm busy as a bee then. Ooh, pen, 10, then. Done and fun. What type of poem would that be? 5 lines, first, second, and fifth rhyme. Third and fourth rhyme. Let's move on to another one. Kitty. He stares at me. What does he want? Then he's off. He has the zoomies again. My crazy cat rounds the corner and stops at his food dish. Of course, he's as hungry as a bear. Now, which of those poems is free verse? And which poem is a limerick? Remember, limerick has 5 lines, the first, second, and the 5th rhyme, and the 3rd and the 4th rhyme. So which one of those has rhyming words? That would be my limerick. Which one of those has just a free verse poem? That would be this one. So you should have kitty for one of these, and you should have busy as a bee for the other one. Number 2. In the poem Kitty, what does the narrator think of her cat? He stares at me. What does he want? Then he's off. He has the zoomies again. My crazy cat rounds the corner, stops at his food dish. Of course, he's hungry as a bear. Well, I see my crazy cat. She thinks her cat is crazy and hungry. Write the line from the poem Kitty that shows alliteration. Means the first sounds are the same. He stares at me. No. What does he want? No. Then he's off. He has zoomies again. Ooh, my crazy cat rounds the corner. Right? Notice all those C's at the beginning of the word. So my crazy cat rounds the corner. In the simile, he's hungry as a bear. What 2 things are being compared? What's being compared in this simile? Write it on this line. And then number 6, in the poem Kitty, how did the narrator figure out what her cat wanted? How did he figure it out? Well, notice he stopped at his food dish, right? So for number 6, you could say he stopped at his food dish. Excellent. That'll be all for reading today. Make sure it makes it back in your Thursday folder. Line 6 and 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So why not a vertical whirling winding bug that hops like a cricket crossing a rug? Okay, so he's comparing the helicopter to a cricket. All right, so for number 3, compares the helicopter to a cricket. Then in number 4, reread ornithopter. That was the second one. Use details to explain what the narrator thinks about the ornither. Do you agree with the narrator's point of view? Okay, so I want you to go back, reread the second poem, and explain what the author thinks about the ornithopter there.